Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of SDGC Live. It is Thursday, December the 2nd. Guys, 2021 is quickly drawing to a close. This
and good riddance.
Yeah, like this, just wait till you see what magical shit 2022 has in store for us, my friend. And when I say magical, I mean fucking cursed. That's what I mean. But right now, we're not going to worry about any of that because we have the Game Awards coming up. We got a really, really fun show tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about what we think is going to happen at the Game Awards next week. The Game Awards always means big new reveals. According to Jeff Keighley himself, the number of new reveals is going to be in the upper double digits.
God, how many world premieres, though?
World premiere. So, and how many of those world premieres will be mobile games? And how many of them
what
will
do
be
you got against mobile games, John?
Nothing. But here's the other question.
How many
of them? How many of them? Well, okay, that's not true at all. But how many of those game reveals will be Arc 2, starring Vin Diesel?
Look.
That was a dream, wasn't it? That was not real. I feel like, that was just like one of those dreams where we all consciously shared the dream and we're all present with each other.
We're all dreaming together.
See,
that didn't actually happen. That's not a game.
You know how in It, when all of the children vanquish It as kids and they vow to return and defeat it later, but then all of them forget immediately after they leave? That just happened to me where I just remembered now in vivid detail the horrifying events that we lived through when Arc 2 starring Vin Diesel was revealed.
And you just know
when
know
John
that,
said 2022 is going to be worse, we might get that game next year.
That's what I was talking about. And you just know that, dude, the main theme of that game is going to be family. It has to be, right? Like that game is going to revolve around the importance of family.
The final boss is you're just going to have to fight The Rock as Vin Diesel.
I mean,
I don't know why he will be there, but he will.
Barbarian Chief Hobbs. That's who you're going to have to fight.
The Rock, made of rock.
So we have a super cool guest tonight. Our old friend Matt, Stormy himself, at DJ __ Stormageddon on Twitter. How long has it been since you've actually been on the podcast? It's been
years.
It's been some time.
I was on at the end of 2019 on the Oops All Queers episode plus Sam, when everyone else was away. And then I came on with you, John, when we did, I think, the FF7 remake breakdown episode.
Right.
Spoiler episode.
Yep.
And that was sometime last year, I imagine, after the game came out. And I haven't been on since then.
Well, I know that Derek was like, Stormy's not allowed on unless I'm on.
Right. And then
time.
Unfortunately, I laid that rule down and then left the podcast for a good chunk of the beginning of the year. And then have also not had as much time over the last couple months to be on because of job stuff. So,
well, the thing is, well, and we couldn't have Stormy on because I knew Derek was coming back. He was taking a hiatus. Right. But I still couldn't have Stormy on while Derek was gone because I know his ass would call me at 6 a.m.
How dare you?
Yeah, no, that tracks for you.
Betrayal.
That tracks for you, Derek. But Stormy is here. Dude, what have you been up to recently, man? Because I just did the a side quest episode for you guys earlier this summer.
Oh, fuck. I've got to do a side quest episode.
You do.
It's half written.
So actually, in the time since I've been on, I have now produced over 120 episodes of side quests.
That's nuts.
It's been running for over a year. It's incredible. Everyone here has done one. Jeff did one on Final Fantasy 14. John did one, of course, on Final Fantasy 6, which made Finn mad. He guessed you immediately when he stepped in, but Finn did one on Blade Runner. Justin's done one on Elite Beat Agents, and Derek has done several at this point. Evil Within 2.
I did Evil Within 2.
And Yakuza 0.
And Yakuza 0, and I'm working on Dynasty Warriors Gundam.
So. Can I just say how impressed I am that you remember every game that we all did? Because I couldn't even remember the game that I talked about. So,
yeah.
Props.
Yeah, well, it's because I produce the whole show, but I mean, the design of the show is to feature the host, and I've had a ton of folks submit who aren't even podcasters, who just have like an iPhone microphone, and I still clean up the audio and put it out, I think, and it's been a diverse group of people, which has been amazing. But yeah, no, I mean, I've been busy. I currently am producing 9 podcasts and hosting 4, so I keep busy because I'm a crazy person.
Lord, yeah, you are. You really fucking are. Jesus.
And, streaming has gone on the back burner a little. I became a featured Fuser streamer though in the time since we last spoke, which has been fun to partner with Harmonix in that way. But that's been kind of taking a back seat to just focusing on the podcasting stuff. But I'm actually streaming this Saturday, and we can talk about that in the plugs area later. But yeah, no, I've just been keeping busy, working really hard. And the biggest achievement this year is I had a few heroes of mine on Fun and Games. Grant Kirkhope, composer extraordinaire, was a guest.
I remember that. That was a big get. That was a big get.
And then very recently we had Yuri Lowenthal, not once, but twice. And the second time he emailed us like, hey guys, can I come back? Which is the best. Literally the best.
I got to tell you something, a quick aside about Yuri Lowenthal. My son is a huge fan of Insomniac Spider-Man. And he's been going through some stuff this past year, and Yuri Lowenthal heard about it and not only recorded a video of him for my son walking around his recording studio and showing him all the stuff, but also sent him 3 autographed pictures of Spider-Man from the Insomniac. Like he's Yuri Lowenthal is a legitimate hero. Like that guy is awesome. He really is. No, but Stormy, it's been too long, and we're really glad you're here.
I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited.
And I'm loving the hair, by the way, man.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Living my best Star-Lord life. I saw it in that game, and I was like, I'm just going to do it. No one can stop me, and it's worked out.
I saw that Jeff had tweeted out that we are doing this on the eve of Endwalker.
We almost made it without mentioning Endwalker.
It was gonna happen.
I decided to wear my Chocobo beanie in honor. Yeah, it's a Chocobo. According to my wife, it's just a big chicken. So
she's not wrong.
Says, oh, you're wearing your big chicken beanie. I'm like, no, it's a Chocobo. Would you fucking get it right? I'm just kidding. I don't talk to my wife like that. All right, everybody. We got
talked about Endwalker. I've been watching gay FF14 Twitter talk about the incoming Catboy apocalypse.
Male money.
All of the male Mikote players log out and log in as male Vieira.
Yep. That's it's coming. Oh my god.
Bunny Boy season is upon
Welcome
us.
to Bunny Twink. I don't have a finish to that phrase.
There was a good tweet as well that pointed out they also just to break the internet, they removed gender restrictions on a lot of the costumes, including the maid costume.
Yeah, they did.
Hell yes!
Let's go. Let's get wild.
I've been activated. God, I got a sub to FF14 now. What's up?
I'm
yes,
in.
they did. And I am literally, I've got some stuff to do at work in the morning, but as soon as that's done, I am taking the rest of the day and I'm coming home. And
you're gonna sit at that server broken screen.
But whenever the servers come back online, I'm going to the moon. Yeah. But did you see, there was a meme, and this is the last thing we'll say about it. There was a meme going around today where it said Square Enix at 5 a.m, and it had just a row of guys praying in front of a line of servers. Like, it was the funniest shit. But they're not wrong, right? Like this is by far the biggest expansion, or at least the most anticipated expansion for Final Fantasy XIV, due to the fact that it's bringing this whole Zodiac Heidelin story for the past 10 years to an end.
And they were even said they were trying to add more world servers, but due to the semiconductor shortage, they haven't. So basically all they could do was kind of fortify the levees or whatever and pray, I guess, like you said.
and I am so interested to see what comes next for them, because they very clearly stated there will be more expansions after this. This is just ending that 10-year. Well, what was wild was to hear Yoshi P say, "Yep, we got our roadmap for the next 10 years," and I'm like, God damn, Yoshi.
I mean,
wow.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but given the we got to talk about, given the everyone knows the story of this game at this point, like how it started and where it's become, the competition out there, and just the quality they've done. I think it's safe to say this is going to be a good expansion, whether it's good or great. They haven't really had a miss since Heaven's Ward in 2015. No. And I just think it's going to be a very nice cap to that story, regardless where the game goes from here. Like, to kind of tie all that up and finish something they've been doing for a decade is pretty cool. I think it's really exciting for everyone who works on the game.
I'm really excited as well. Oh, and a real quick bit of breaking news: Paper Mario coming to N64 Switch Online expansion next week.
All right, cool.
One game at a time. A fucking month and a half after that shit launched on Switch.
Yeah, I could have called that.
Oh,
I mean,
Nintendo!
it's just kind of.
So I
both
think
the best and
FF14
worst.
falls under what John has been playing / will be playing.
Actually, no.
Really?
Yeah, one, because I like, you know, I didn't want to burn myself out for the past few weeks on 14 because I wanted to be going nice and fresh for Endwalker 2. I've pretty much done everything with my machinist in Endwalker that there, or in the Blazed expansion that there is to do. And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole of like finding the best glamour for my character because with my OCD nature, I'll never end it. So what I've been doing is catching up on one, catching up with the backlog, and two, playing through Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is a fantastic JRPG. I love Persona. I love Shin Megami Tensei. If you don't like your games, your JRPGs difficult or very long and grindy, I do not recommend Shin Megami Tensei 5. You know, this is the SMT games do not have the story and character interactions that you'll find in the Persona franchise.
It's like a reverse Dragon Quest situation almost.
Yeah, pretty much. These have like there's no social links here. These are dyed in the wool, grindy, very long JRPGs. That's right up my alley. But if that doesn't sound right up your alley, then Shin Megami Tensei is not for you. It's also very difficult, as all these Shin Megami Tensei games are wont to be. I've also gotten back into you know, I got myself a CRT television and I hooked up my PlayStation 1 to it last night. And I called Derek the other day. And I was like, literally called him and I said, Derek, I've fallen down the CRT rabbit hole.
It's like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all coming from you.
I said, I'm on my way to pick up a Sony Trinitron.
Of course you
and
were.
He was like, of course you had to get a Trinitron. Like, of course it's a Trinitron. But I'll tell you what though, I've been going through some weird mental health stuff, and sitting on my floor, you know, cross-legged like I did when I was 15 and playing PlayStation games on a CRT, on an actual PlayStation, not an emulator, not a PlayStation Mini. Very, very cool, comforting feeling. So I've got a DAC coming here that I can use to hook my analog or my Super NT up to the CRT television, or my Super NT to the CRT television, and get reference quality CRT Super Nintendo games, and that and Endwalker are pretty much going to be my December, because I'm almost done with SMT5, and it's going to be a good December. But that's what I've been playing. Who wants to go next?
I can go next because
You go next, Derek.
Obviously, I've been continuing to play Super Robot Wars 30 very slowly. I've picked up FF15 again for the first time in a very, very long time. Because when I played it and beat it, it was the vanilla version. There was no DLC. There was not even any of the free patches and updates that added into the game. So I'm still in the early parts of the game. Like, I only just got Rama. So like, it was still fairly early in. So none of that stuff really has come into play yet. It's mostly a good time. FF15's always been a mixed bag for me. I don't really like sitting in the car and waiting for it to drive in real time.
I love that shit, man.
I hate it so much.
Love that shit.
And like, I'm not a big fan of open world games in general. So FF15 going really far down that open world format rabbit hole and throwing a bunch of meaningless side quests. Like, it's not enough that I have to go to this dude's farm. Yes.
Are you playing the Royal Edition or whatever?
Yeah, it's like the final Super Turbo Nerd Edition on Windows.
You got to do the side quest where you upgrade the car into a monster truck.
Yes. You got to do all the car side quests, obviously. But like, it's not enough to do a side quest for a guy where you go to his farm and kill some knife wolves and pick some green beans. Then you have to drive back to the city for him to tell you, hey, can you do this again? But they're going to be sword wolves and you're going to pick up potatoes. And you have like 5 quests in that chain that's all the same shit. So...
You know what's wild about the Royal Edition, Derek? If I can cut in real quick. And like, yeah, I'm the Final Fantasy 15 apologist here, but I will say that like the Royal Edition does one thing good and one thing bad. It takes the final dungeon of the game, which is Insomnia, and turns it from one of the worst final dungeons in the franchise.
Yeah, it was dog shit.
To one of the best.
Well, we'll see about that, won't we?
There are 5 new bosses. There are entire new NPCs and storylines, and the whole dungeon is about an hour longer. What the bad thing it does is really highlight the flaws, and this is the game that should have launched in 2016.
It's still not the version of the game that should have launched, but continue.
The Royal Edition fixed pretty much all the issues I had with the original game, specifically in the back end of the game. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I wish that this is the game that had launched in 2016.
See, there's a lot I like about 15, but the 2 things I really don't like are the car and driving it, which is awful.
That's literally what Jeff loved about it.
Somebody said,
Jeff also likes flying planes.
Imagine what FF15 would be like if driving the car felt like any game where driving is a main part of it. Instead of being hold right trigger on a linear, I don't get to do a lot of driving. And then the other side is just, I don't like the combat. The combat is serviceable at best. It looks and feels in Control like it should be an action game, but it's not.
It feels like their first crack at 7 Remakes combat, which is where they finally got it right.
Feels like when they actually understood what they were doing. But 15 is sort of this weird system of hold the combat button down to get an auto attack string that changes based on where you're moving the control stick. And it's sloppy, and you're getting attacked a billion times by enemy mobs that don't telegraph their attacks very well. And
warping doesn't feel like it should be in there. Like half the time it breaks the camera, or just it feels, I don't know.
It doesn't hit very well unless you lock on, which is just one more fiddly button in combat instead of sticking to a target that you have your stick pointed at. Magic. Why is it that casting spells, which are all area of effect attacks, also hurt your party members?
Unless you can turn that off.
Unless you equip an accessory and use one of your rare accessory slots.
Derek, it's called immersion, my friend. Okay,
yeah, it's called not a good choice.
Derek, if I was to throw an AoE lightning attack in real life and you were in the middle of it, I'd be like, Derek, you might want to move because my AoE lightning attack might shock you. Although I will say
this works very well in Dungeons and Dragons and works very badly in Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah,
but I do love the cast of FF15. Has a great set of main characters. It is a great final villain. It has a very, very interesting visual design that tries to blend kind of modern technology aesthetics with that kind of like magic punk and mostly works.
I maintain that Arden is one of the series' best villains.
I would agree. So there's a lot to love, and I'm gonna finish it. I want to play, and like I said, I haven't done the character episodes yet. So, and I only dealt with vanilla version of Insomnia, so maybe it's much better now because it was garbage before.
I'm very interested to hear what you think of the new iteration on the final dungeon. It is much different.
But I'm willing to be forgiving to like games that have flaws. Again, as Blaine brings up FF8 in the chat, I'm the FF8 defender. So I'm here for flawed but interesting games. And that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, well, you know what? That was a flawed but interesting opinion.
You're flawed but interesting.
That's Lord. True, actually, Derek. That's very true.
It's true of all of us.
Jeff, you want to go next and we'll finish up with Stormy?
Yeah, sure. Speaking of flawed.
Oh, Jeff, don't you do that yourself.
No. So I've been playing a game that I think has had a little bit of discussion on the internet, which is the GTA Trilogy Remaster.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I'm not on Twitter that much, but I've caught wind that some people were unhappy with it.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you know what? Honestly, I've been having a really good time with it. Like I'm just so disconnected. There's some, like I think I've read most of the summary of the complaints. There's some issues for sure. The first thing I noticed when I booted it up is the performance is just inexcusable, considering, yes, it's upgraded, so it's not going to run as well as a vanilla PS2 game would. But like, come on, you should have toned it down a bit. There's no reason a game that looks like this should be the only game that I've played on PS5 that isn't a solid 60 FPS. It's frequently in the 40s. So I'm a performance graphics snob. That's why I play on my PC most of the time. So it was a rough ride getting used to that. But honestly, aside from that, I understand the complaints with the art direction. To me, that's like a subjective thing. I could see why people don't like it. For me, it looks really cartoony, but I don't know. I think it looks fine. And I think the biggest thing to me is just, I've played a lot of these games. They're not my favorite games all the time, but they're, revolutionary at the time I played them. I'd never played a game like GTA 3 in that kind of like 3D open world space. So it was the first sandbox game. And, I own 4 copies of GTA 3 now and 5 copies of San Andreas. Like I played the shit out of the, whether it's the original PS2 games that I still have on disc, whether it's the old Steam copies. I've played them with mods. And it's interesting. The biggest thing to me was like the draw distance they've removed, which I know with San Andreas people really don't like, but I think at least I've only played 3 right now. I'm almost done 3 and I played a bit of Vice City, but it's one of those things where it finally feels like you get to see the city in a way that the technology didn't allow you to back then, where like, things would draw in a block away and now you can actually look across the river and see a downtown and see buildings, stuff like that. So like, it's just been a cool way to experience games that I grew up with and see them really differently. And honestly, I haven't had any glitches. I don't think. Had a couple crashes, but yeah, it's been a pretty smooth experience for me. And they've actually rolled out a lot of patches. They've added some new haze to San Andreas. They fixed the rain.
That was literally going to be my question for you, Jeff.
Yeah, the rain. Yeah, it's like they nerfed it to shit. It's very transparent. You can barely see it now. It looks. It's still. The games still are. These games aren't lookers, but I think it depends on the perspective of if you consider do they look good in 2021 for $80? Because that's what they cost here. Probably not. But considering they're PS2 games, I think they look pretty good. But I don't want to spend too much time on them. The other thing I was going to mention quickly is Guardians of the Galaxy from Square Enix went on sale for $50 Canadian, which is it's like 30% off. Heard a lot of good things. I heard the combat wasn't great. I don't play a lot of games with combat. Like Stormy said, I fly planes, and I was actually driving a car on FF15 and just chilling. Sounds great. I playing Animal Crossing. I'm really, guns are a big turnoff for me lately. So
sure.
Watching the game, I wasn't. I think a lot of people were down on Guardians. I thought it looked good at the reveal. And one thing that really sold me on the reveal was that Mass Effect type dialogue trees and stuff and character relationships in the ship. But I was like, how superficial is this? Do you get this like a couple times throughout the game and that's it? It doesn't really do anything, but the game's really blown me away. The characters just don't stop talking and it's the best.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. The only thing I'll say that annoys me is there's almost too much dialogue where constantly like there's clearly some scripting going on where like when you move forward, it interrupts a conversation to move the story ahead. And I constantly am like, I wait a little bit while they're talking. I'm like, I could take a couple steps and then it triggers and I'm like, I wish I got the end of that conversation. But it's never really felt to the detriment like I'm missing key points. It's more just that there's so much dialogue and it's all so good. I just want to hear all of it. But I think that's a big compliment. And the combat is fine. It's again, I don't know if I'm the best judge because I'm just not super into shooting stuff anyway. It feels a little sloppy to me. It's hard to keep track of some of the enemies. The camera can get a little bit funky. Sometimes I find it hard to see where my teammates are on screen and trying to issue them commands and stuff. But I don't know, it really gives you that feeling of teamwork. Like I really do feel like everyone's working together, whether it's them saying things back to you or kind of there's like these tag team combos. It almost feels like a wrestling match sometimes. Yeah, so I don't know. You played it too, I think, Matt. But like it's, I don't know if you have any thoughts on it as well. You want to share?
I do. It has become in my top 5 of the year. It skyrocketed past a bunch of games that I also loved as much. My top 10 this year is going to be tough to whittle down, but the way, first of all, the way that I'm a big music nerd, and the way the music is used in this game is poetic. It's just so brilliantly done. Have you done one of the huddles yet?
Yeah, I do the huddles as soon as I get one.
Same.
It's instant.
I've uploaded several videos to Twitter. My favorite was I did a huddle and then immediately played "Never Gonna Give You Up" by Rick Astley as I was using a bunch of my special moves. It's just I'm an '80s kid. I am a big music nerd, and so that was a big hit. Also, all the Star-Lord band songs were made originals. And they were made for this game. Like literally, they put a band together for this game. But yeah, I beat it, and like it made me cry several times. It just has so much heart, and it made me realize how poor of a representation the MCU Guardians are. I still like those movies; they're fun, but like this is Guardians of the Galaxy as I remember them from the comics I've read. Like this, you really get to see these characters grow. You get to see the story develop in a way that the movies just fell short, and. Like, I agree, the combat's not great, but I think the narrative, the writing, I laughed out loud many times, which a lot of games don't do anymore for me that are supposed to be funny. And I got Star-Lord's haircut, so like clearly I'm a fan.
Actually,
like,
I'm sorry, you cut out. I thought you were done talking. Please continue.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I really dig it. It was a surprise for me this year, and like I really want another one. Like this is what I wanted from Avengers. And I still liked Avengers, but like I wanted this kind of deep narrative and single player story. And so I'm excited that it exists, and hopefully we'll get another one.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to say is you touched on the characters really quick. I agree. Like I think they're just better written, but also it's got more time to breathe because it's not constrained to like a 2-hour movie. On the character, the only thing I'll say that threw me off is like is kind of weird is Drax and Rocket feel very MCU influenced. I haven't read the comics, but like I always thought there was a lot of James Gunn and Drax in terms of like some of the crass and literal delivery and stuff. So like, but definitely he's still more fleshed out. And the thing I love about the game is the emotional moments have room to breathe. And like, man, Star-Lord in this game, like, I'm sorry, but Chris Pratt opinions aside, Star-Lord fucking sucks now after playing this game. But they don't undercut the emotional emotional moments with jokes the way the MCU does. There's so many, especially in Guardians 2, there's so many heartwarming scenes where like something nice is said and then immediately they just have to like pull the rug out from under it with a one-liner. And I love that the game could just be dramatic when it wants to be dramatic and be emotional, but also be funny. And they don't overlap with each other in a negative way.
I have not played this game, and I probably won't for some time just because there's other things that are grabbing my attention. But my absolute favorite thing, like the best thing I've seen out of Guardians of the Galaxy was that glitch you encountered, Jeff, where Drax was like following Quill around the entire ship. And
Sam
every time
Tolbert had that same glitch, apparently.
Like every time Jeff had a conversation with one, Drax was like standing right at the tip of Star-Lord's face, just looming in front of him. And like
you couldn't even see Gamora. It's just Drax's pecs, like right there, and they're bouncing a little bit.
Look at my man titties.
No, I could not help but think of like video game Drax saying, "I've mastered the art of standing so incredibly still that I become invisible."
That's the biggest issue I have with the game. Nothing's been game breaking, but there's just so much jank and little glitches. And it just feels like they needed a little bit more time to polish that stuff up. But sometimes it's funny. But that's the only knock I have on it, really.
Yeah, didn't you say that you turned the game off and turned it back on, and Drax was still following you around?
Yeah, it's like it's like one. Because after kind of every mission or like every planet, you go back on your ship and there's like a little bit of time there you can talk to characters before you go to the next place. And I think there's one specific chapter, one specific part where Drax is like just sitting on the couch, kind of bummed out. And if you walk past him, there's an animal, I guess, on the ship as well. And yeah, if you trigger a certain something, he will just literally follow you around the ship. And
that's awesome.
You can't get rid of him. So.
Drax just wants to hang out with you.
He just wants to hang out with you, man.
He follows you around the ship because he wants to debate you in the marketplace, and he just will not leave you alone until you debate him. That's what I choose to believe.
Derek says no.
Derek is disgusted. Story, did you have anything you wanted to mention?
Yes.
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
There I have a bunch of games. First of all, Jeff, I just want to say Drax, it speaks that way in the comics more or less.
Okay.
And like Rocket's a caricature in the comics until you get into his backstory. So like, I'm not surprised that it was so similar to Bradley Cooper, but that said, it didn't really bother me that much. And like Gamora was just better across the board in this game.
Absolutely.
Like an actual character, not just a love interest, had more to do than be a woman. Like it was amazing. Had motivation that wasn't falling for Star-Lord, like all of that. But anyway, enough about Guardians. I beat that weeks ago. That's not what I've played recently. A few games I've played today. Hours before I came on this podcast, I played Before Your Eyes, a game I've been hearing about for months and months and months. For those who are not familiar, I'll give you the basic pitch. Before Your Eyes is a Steam indie game. It's about 90 minutes long, where you play by blinking. What does that mean? It uses your webcam, and every time you blink, time progresses forward. I'm not going to tell you anything about the story, but you use a mouse and you use your eyes. And I weeped after finishing it. And I'm like an emotional video game player, so that's not, but this is one of the best stories in games I've ever seen, and one of the best games I've ever played. And that's not hyperbole. So if you've not heard anything about it, don't look up anything about it. Just go to your Steam page. It's like, it was $8 during the sale. I think it's $14 normally. Buy it and play it. It's in 90 minutes of your life. If you don't like it, that's fine. But like it's a video game experience that's not like any other experience I've ever had before. It's one of those kinds of games. And I think it shows us what we can do with games to tell a compelling story. So highly recommend that. I'm going to not say anything else. Just play it. Like Mr. Delaby says in chat, just play it. I've been spending a ton of time with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I am a Pokemon weeb. I've loved Pokemon, but the original Pearl on the DS is where I started to fall out. I never finished Pearl. I just fell out of love with it. And then I came back for Black and White 2, and then kind of fell off again. And like was on and off until X and Y, and then straight through to the end.
Why do we have exactly the same Pokemon story?
And X and Y is one of my favorite of any of them. It's just got one of my favorite narratives. But so when I heard that they were remaking it, I was like, all right, well, I'll give it another shot, right? What have I got to lose? It's a $60 Nintendo game. If I don't like it, whatever. I love Pokemon. I have been obsessed with it. I don't know why. I think it's a comfort food game. It's one of those games that's just hitting all the right buttons. It's super straightforward. None of, like, for better or worse, it's pretty stripped down as far as Pokemon goes, but it did put in some quality of life features like XP share from the get without an item, which for me is a godsend as someone who has shit to do and wants to level all his Pokemon up at the same time. But I love it. I'm up to the Elite Four. I promised my nephew, who got Pearl, that I would catch several restricted Pokemon for him before they are unavailable after beating the Elite Four. So I spent a bunch of time doing that, which was a lot of fun. He's been texting me like for the last 3 days. Did you get him? Did you get him? Yes, I got them. But I've just really been loving it. I don't know why I bounced off it on the DS. I think I just probably had something else to play, or was at a time when I wasn't playing a lot of games, because I've had phases of that. But I'm really loving it this time around. If you want a Pokemon-esque Pokemon game, like you just really want a Pokemon game, you should play this. I think if you're looking for something innovative, this is not the game. Wait for Arceus. But if you just want to play a Pokemon, I can't say that.
Pokemon-ass Pokemon game.
Yeah. Buy this game. It's been a lot of fun. It's been like a nice comfort game. Other than that, I've been playing Halo multiplayer a bunch. I am an old school Halo sicko. I loved Halo 1, 2, and 3, and Reach. I played a lot of Halo 3 multiplayer online and Reach online. And so
you must be some kind of a gamer or something.
Some capital G gamer. Mind you, I've never been any good at these games. I'm terrible at them, but I have fun. And the multiplayer for Infinite has felt very like I'm back in my college dorm kind of situation, right? Like you're back with your friends on the couch doing stupid ass shit in this stupid ass video game. Like the serious story of the Halo franchise single player has always been astonishing to me, because the multiplayer is so damn goofy. Like, I'm going to share a brief story from my past that I think I've tweeted about too. My favorite thing that my friend Joe, Brian, and myself discovered in Halo 1 on Xbox multiplayer is that you could sing an entire round of the Doug theme before a rocket from the rocket launcher would reach you across the map. It just was a slow ass rocket. And so me, my friend Brian, and my friend Joe would be playing quietly, focused, and then we'd hear my friend Joe go, and we'd panic. We'd be like, oh my God, where's the rocket? Where's it coming from? It's like that kind of stupidity is synonymous with Halo in the best way for me. And so I've really been enjoying the multiplayer. I'm going to play the campaign when it comes out. I'm a PC Game Pass user, so I'm excited to play that, but I don't know. I'd never played 4 or 5, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to love it, but I'm enjoying the multiplayer at least. I think that's really it that I've been playing. Oh, I played some Horizon 5. I meant to actually pick your brain on it, Jeff, because I found that Horizon 5 was disappointing compared to 4. I don't hate it, but I'm not vibing with the Mexico location like I did with the British location. And I don't know that it's the game's fault either. The radio stations are also not as good, which is a big
yeah, I actually haven't played it yet. I've just got too much other stuff on the go, but I'm kind of a big Pulse person when it comes to Horizon, and I pulled up the Pulse playlist for Horizon 5 on Spotify the other day, and there's no churches. I don't know, and they have some authentic, I think, Mexican artists in there, which is great. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I've checked out a bit of the music, just wasn't feeling it. The location, I think locations are really like a subjective thing. Apparently, I know Mr. Dellaby in chat hates the UK, but I loved the UK setting. I thought it was really cool and unique. So I'm interested to see. But I think that series could use a shakeup. I think they're really well made games. But I was already feeling with 4 a little bit like, okay, maybe it's time to like just do things a little bit different. I think 5 is kind of the perfection of that formula, but I would like to see them challenge themselves a little bit to do something different next time.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree. And then the last thing is this week I'm going to be starting Life is Strange: True Colors. I got it as a Hanukkah present this week, and I'm very excited to jump into that. I remember watching Jeff play the opening hours of that game and really dug what I saw. I think I saw you.
Great stream, yeah.
I saw you play up to when you had to get the clipboard from the cat and you had to like distract it. And so like, I'm excited. I'm excited to play it. Also, it's only 10 hours. That's like a godsend to me right now. It's like, oh, you were short game? Then you bet your ass I'm going to play you before the end of the year. So I'm excited to jump into that hopefully later this week.
All right. Well, as everyone knows, next week, speaking of games, next week, Game Awards 2021 is coming. And of course, we always get some big reveals at the Game Awards, right? Like there's always some world premiere. And we are going to sit here for the rest of the podcast and speculate on what these world premieres could be. I'll tell you right now, I'll throw out the first prediction. I think we're going to get Breath of the Wild 2. Like a big deep dive presentation.
I wish I'd thought to ask this before we started into this territory. When exactly is the Game Awards and what are we doing?
Next Thursday we're streaming it.
Okay. I'm trying to find the start
Samuel
time.
Tolbert will be joining us, of course, as per that's our annual
requirement. That's tradition at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, so it's 8 p.m. Eastern, which is when I get off work. So y'all are gonna have to start the call without me, and I'm gonna have to
when you get home
come in and join because
this motherfucker's like 2.5 hours long.
I'm always confused by these things. Is that when the pre-show starts? Or is that when the main show starts?
That's a wonderful question.
They've already given out 50 awards anyway.
That might actually be when the pre-show starts. But yeah. So and Derek, just hop on the call whenever you get home.
Yeah, just add me to
I'll dial you in. So yeah, like right out of the gate, I feel like it's time. Like, if Breath of the Wild 2 is not there, then I don't think that game's launching next year. But if Breath of the Wild 2 is there, then yeah, we'll get it next year.
Does it have a window for 2020 or is it just 2022?
I think it's on Nintendo's list for next year.
Well, they said is but
they don't have like a what quarter or anything.
Oh, okay.
But it's next year.
They said they're aiming for 2022. They didn't say it was coming out in 20. They said they're
Everything's
aiming.
aiming for COVID exists.
Yes.
None of these games are coming
Yeah.
out for sure when they say they
Yeah.
are.
True.
But like, I mean, if Nintendo had like, you can imagine Nintendo's got one big game here, right? They always do.
They always have at least one good thing to show off.
It's-
so.
Right.
It's either, I mean, I can't think of anything other than Breath of the Wild 2 or like Metroid Prime 4.
I was gonna
Or
say
something that we don't know about,
Finally,
but-
show off Metroid Prime 4. Honestly.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you think it's more likely that we see Metroid Prime 4 than Breath of the Wild?
I'm not a Nintendo guy, so I don't know. To me, I feel like Breath of the Wild, like they did with their first one, like I just think that feels to me like they have their own direct for it. It's such a big game for them. Metroid Prime 4 is early enough that I think they could get away with at least an initial trailer actually showing a little bit of the game. And I think the Game Awards, especially for something like Metroid, that like everyone knows Zelda. Metroid is Dread did really well, but Metroid is obviously not on the same level as Mario or Zelda. So I think Game Awards, it might be a good way to like get more of the kind of mainstream audience excited about that game.
Yeah, and Dread doing as well as it has
Right.
I was
may
gonna say
make
that, yeah.
Metroid Prime 4 a higher priority than it
Right.
was.
Yeah.
But that was only like a month ago.
Yeah.
So like they're not going to turn around this quick and suddenly, try to pretend that Metroid Prime 4 was always going to be at the Game Awards if it wasn't planned before.
I see like
I
a
think-
sizzle reel or something, like a small gameplay,
Yeah.
like Samus
Yeah.
turning toward the camera.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but
and-
then again, Geoff Keighley is not gonna turn down if Nintendo's like, "Hey, do you have room for like a 30-second Metroid Prime teaser?" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
He's
know,
gonna,
so
he's gonna say yes.
well, I think those are both not unreasonable.
Yeah.
So,
I think
sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Delaby in chat is right. We could see a re-reveal of Bayonetta 3 or maybe more gameplay of Bayonetta 3. There was a lot of hype for it. I myself finally beat the first one and have played significantly to the second one after seeing that trailer. I was like, well, I need to know what this is about.
Thank you for being introduced to our queen.
She's amazing. And,
Yeah.
and like those games are just brilliant. But I think there's a good chance of that because we did see a little bit of gameplay. We did see a cutscene in the original reveal, and it's possible we might get a little more of that since that's I think guaranteed for early next year, isn't it? Like, didn't they say? I thought they said spring.
I thought so. I'm not
Yeah.
100%. If somebody in chat could confirm that, I
Because
think
we're
it
not
was-
going to see Kirby because they gave
No.
a big long reveal of that. And
Yeah,
so,
we're
and
not
we
gonna
know
see-
when that's coming.
I don't like Kirby is gonna. Like I love Nintendo and I love Kirby, so Kirby is a natural fit for me. But at the Game Awards, they're gonna show. I mean, if Nintendo's gonna be there, they're not gonna have a billion games there. They're gonna have one or two big games there.
Kirby's
and
gonna get one more big trailer in an early
In a
direct,
direct.
next year before it
Yep.
launches. That's what's gonna
Yep.
happen.
Exactly.
Sure.
But yeah, I think Breath of the Wild 2 and Prime 4 are both good guesses. And I think there's an equal but if we get, and I think we'll all agree on this, if we get one, we're not going to get the other.
No, definitely not. They wouldn't do both, I don't think.
No.
I think it
I don't
depends on
think
the
so
scale.
either.
I can see us getting a bigger, more like gameplay oriented Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, and then Metroid Prime 4 getting a teaser, like something short, something like 30 seconds. That's a little more than just a logo, but doesn't show very much. Like I can see both those, but you're not getting a big Metroid Prime 4 trailer. I
Well,
don't
the
think,
other
no matter
thing-
what.
The elephant in the room, Derek, and somebody in chat had mentioned this, was Prime Trilogy, which the latest rumor says it's not actually Prime Trilogy being remastered. It's just Metroid Prime being
Prime being, which to be fair, it's the best one. So
right. So and you know what? Like I actually would give that a higher chance of being there than Prime 4, to be perfectly blunt.
The remaster.
Yeah.
that's direct fodder. I
Yeah,
think
I
so,
don't know
dude.
that.
Like,
I think so. I get
I
to
don't
pull
know,
the
man.
former employee card. Not that it's actually relevant at all, but you know.
I will say this, and I'll this is the last thing I'll say about Metroid, but I feel like if you're gonna show something Metroid related at the Game Awards, like this is like coming off the heels of Dread being such a success that like, while that Metroid iron is still hot, it might be a good time to strike. So it might be a good time to show something.
Yeah.
If we hadn't had Dread, I would say there's probably not gonna be anything Metroid related there at all.
Right. Agreed.
So yeah. What else? So Game Awards known for big reveals. Derek.
I was gonna say, as the resident Capcom person.
I know
on the
where you're
podcast.
going. I know where
So
you're going.
Here's the thing. Capcom has pretty reliably had something good to show off at the Game Awards.
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, year after year. I mean, most famously, I mean, Monster Hunter World got revealed during the Game Awards.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Which was a huge turn for them because there was a lot of uncertainty about Monster Hunter World based on the pre-leaks that were going around until people saw it and it was like, oh no, this is Monster Hunter. We have been told by some somewhat reliable people to expect some Monster Hunter stuff. I don't know if that means more Monster Hunter spinoffs, if that means just a big trailer, blowout trailer for Sunbreak, which wouldn't surprise me too much because that's coming. When is Sunbreak supposed to hit?
Sometime next year, but
yeah, and we've got nothing on Sunbreak. So a first trailer that shows off some new monsters and returning monsters and a new feature or something is reasonable to expect. Yeah, it's also worth. Yeah, as Sam beat me to the punch.
Yeah,
Capcom has announced and released a Resident Evil game every year since 2017. So we don't have anything on the table for next year, and we all know about the Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah,
it's the worst. It's one of the worst kept secrets ever. And do you know what would blow the doors off at a place like the Game Awards? Is a Resident Evil 4 remake trailer.
A big fat, full fat RE4 remake trailer. And
heavy cream, right?
Yeah. A little, as Palmer from Final Fantasy VII would say, a little lard in there, a little butter.
Well, you made it worse. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, hey, I can't help how Palmer likes his tea.
But anyway, I mean, there's a lot of options from Capcom because we got that. We know Dragon's Dogma 2 is in development.
We do.
We know.
That's excellent. That's excellent to know.
Oh, it's coming at some point.
You know, there's that. I don't remember the name of the game, but the weird astronaut hologram cat, the moon is fake.
Yeah,
game that they revealed at a PlayStation event. Like, Capcom's got some stuff to potentially show off, and I think we're going to see something big, like one big thing from them. Whether it's and I mean the most Pragmata. Thank you,
Pragmata.
Sam.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Most likely to be just Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak.
Yeah.
But
I honestly think there's a much higher chance of RE4 being there than anything else Capcom is doing right now.
Sunbreak is coming way sooner than RE4. So.
Yeah, but I guarantee but there is going to be a lot more hype around RE4 than there will be Sunbreak, simply because Sunbreak.
I don't know, man. Monster Hunter makes them some fucking money.
It does, but Sunbreak is only going to be on Switch and PC. RE4 is something that is going to generate hype across PlayStation and Xbox and PC. It's something. It's what you're talking about. One of the most beloved games of all time, and apparently, according to what we've heard, this isn't actually having any content like RE2 and RE3 remakes did. Like this is a full
also the
remake of the whole
possibility
game.
That 4 is much farther out and may be
true.
the one that. See, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Sunbreak, that shit's out first half of next year, and we've seen nothing but a teaser trailer with one dragon in it.
So.
No,
I was just gonna say, because Derek, I was gonna talk about Capcom. So let's,
continue,
no, that's okay.
Jeff.
I had the list pulled up here because it's interesting because of the Capcom leak, and so interestingly, obviously these dates have all changed. The leak was a while ago, and even at that time, I think the target dates for these releases were probably already moved.
Kind of generous.
But based on the leak, they had 5 games slated for 2022. One of which, Dragon's Dogma 2 is on there, Resident Evil 4 remake, I think an Onimusha, Street Fighter 6 as well. But interestingly, I mean, so Resident Evil 4 remake was slated for Q4 of 2022, which we can imagine slipped with COVID. But Dragon's Dogma 2 was slated for Q2, which is like within the next 6 months originally. That game was supposed to be out. And we haven't seen anything.
I've heard that's taking a little longer than they
wanted.
WoW
is going to be so fucking insufferable.
I've heard that's taking longer than they wanted. And Street Fighter, it's not going to be Street Fighter.
No, it won't be Street Fighter. So
that's going to get held for Evo or something.
So I agree. 4 remake has a good chance, but I really do think there's a good chance Dragon's Dogma 2, even if it's taking longer. I think we could at least see a trailer for it.
My shot in the dark prediction, because I love this franchise, is Mega Man 12. I don't think we're actually getting one.
Oh, I love that.
But I loved Mega Man 11. I think it was the smartest thing they've done with that series in a long time. And we know that the X franchise has that like big like multiplayer game that's sort of doing well. And so I really think that if they're going to bring Mega Man back, where else to announce it than at the Game Awards?
I want a new Mega Man X game. Like I want a new X or Z game. Like
sure. But they just released the ZX collection and the other stuff. So I really think if we get a new Mega Man game, it would be Mega Man 12, and I'm here for it. I really enjoyed the gear system, and
me too.
So that's my shot in the dark. Like that won't happen.
It had some of the best robot masters in the entire franchise.
I would
like,
agree.
Yeah. No, I think Mega Man, or like a fucking Power Stone collection, like something to.
Oh please, yes.
Yeah, like something to.
Those are
I don't think
dark.
you're seeing a lot of remasters and collections at Game Awards. So I think we're gonna get some, but I don't think it's gonna be.
I will take either a Power Stone collection or a Breath of Fire collection. That's a franchise that really needs to get some love. So here's another. So Stormy.
Sorry.
I want to. Jeff, go ahead.
No, I was gonna. You go ahead. I'll go next. It's all good.
Stormy, did you want to? Yeah, toss one out, man.
So I have a prediction of what's definitely not going to be there, because if I didn't talk about this company, it wouldn't be my brand. Some folks might know that I'm a little bit of a Mass Effect fan, just maybe.
I've heard in certain circles.
And so one thing that I really do not think is going to be there is Dragon Age 4 or Mass Effect Next. I just don't think, like, people are clamoring, but like we got that teaser poster. We got
Liana Rupert posted some very baity stuff today, and it was like, don't do this, because we all know what you're trying to hint at and what you're known for being a fan of, and don't. Yeah.
And like I want it more than anything, but I think last year is when we got the Mass Effect Next reveal with Liara on the snowy mountain, and so I just don't think this year. And then I think the year before that is when they did the Dragon Age 4 teaser. So like, unless we have a Dragon Age 4 release date, then maybe, but we won't. And I don't think we're gonna get anything BioWare. We might see a little more of the Knights of the Old Republic remake, maybe.
I was thinking that, Stormy, but it seems awful early for that.
It does seem unlikely, especially since they already did a teaser during E3, and it was teasery enough. But like, trust me, nobody wants whatever this next Mass Effect is more than me. But I just don't like. Especially since we just got a poster on N7 Day, which wasn't that long ago, I really don't think there's going to be any presence at the Game Awards. Yeah,
it's too soon for that. Do you remember when they first revealed Andromeda gameplay? It was just the main character walking. Do you remember that? Like, it was just. It's like I don't think they're not going to make that mistake again. When they're ready to show the new Mass Effect, which is a continuation of all the characters we've come to know and love, they're going to make a big event out of that. Like, that's going to be a big deal. So I agree with you. I don't think you're going to see Dragon Age, or I don't think BioWare is going to be there at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think they're going to have a presence. Jeff, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so I kind of bit of what I think will be there and what I think won't. We talked about Nintendo. So a lot of people are probably wondering, what are Sony and Microsoft going to do there? I think Sony's in a tough spot right now, because I think we know so much. They were fortunate to have shipped a lot of great games, especially near the end of PS4's life, but it means a lot of their studios either just released the game in the last year or two, and we know what the rest are up to. Like, obviously Sucker Punch just released Tsushima, so I don't know that they have a lot to show. I think if we see anything from Sony, I could potentially see a tease for Blue Point's next game, which they've said is original content, but people are speculating could be Demon Souls DLC, where it's like, because they didn't say original IP, they very specifically said original content,
or a Bloodborne sequel, or
like we could see a tease for that, or we could also see I don't know how far the Last of Us remake is. The thing that nobody asked for. So if they show anything, I could see one of those. I think, but I was going to say, I think Microsoft's going to be there in a big way. I think Microsoft, a lot of their games are still really early, but they're not afraid to show things early at this point. And they've got so much stuff in the works from all their new studios. They've got, that Obsidian project they revealed a while ago. We know there's that new Fable game. There's Perfect Dark. All this stuff's really early. And I'm not saying we're going to see gameplay, but for sure, I think they're going to have at least a couple big trailers there.
I mean, we might see more Starfield. It's possible. Yeah. I mean, with Bethesda being a big part of them now, a shot in the dark would be what's next for Doom would be a big reveal at this. Like, even if it's just like Doomslayer and like the title of the next game, I could see that kind of thing.
They might be due for a Quake revival in the vein of Doom and Wolfenstein, and I don't think Quake Champions counts.
Is
I don't think
Wolfenstein
so
3
either.
happening? Is that on the back burner? Do we know anything about that? Because there was supposed to be a
that's a
trilogy.
good
right?
question.
I thought
That's a good
I thought Youngblood was essentially Wolfenstein 3.
No, that's
No.
kind of like the Old Blood. It's just a spin-off of 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't, because otherwise what else is Machine Games working on?
So Jeff was talking about Sony. I honestly I feel like we could see some Spider-Man gameplay.
That's possible.
I think
I could
somebody
see that.
tried to mention Wolverine. I don't think they're not gonna show
Wolverine.
too much
That feels
Wolverine before
Yeah.
Spider-Man releases.
Yeah.
But I think the last Spider-Man was revealed at E3, right? Like that's when we saw Spider-Man. It's been 6 months. I feel like we could see some Spider-Man gameplay here.
Insomniac works fast.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. I feel like Indiana Machine Games is doing Indiana Jones.
Oh, that answers
that's
that,
right.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I wonder if that's going to be there.
That could be. Yeah, we could see that.
Is that
That's
the one
actually
that
a pretty good
is written by Todd Howard?
Wait, Todd Howard is writing it?
I might have got that mixed up.
Wait. Yeah, Sam
Yes.
says yes.
Yeah, Sam says yes.
I
All right,
found that
love
out recently, and I was like, you know what,
All
Todd, you chase your dreams, buddy.
Indiana Jones is my favorite film franchise. Specifically the first 3. Crystal Skull can get fucked, but I am really interested in that Indiana Jones game.
Crystal Skull was fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a fine movie.
It's
It's
fine.
not good, but it's fine. So are the
Wow.
prequels, y'all. Prequels are fine. They're not
pretty
fat.
fine.
They're just
That's
fine.
pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucked up.
They're fine.
But no, I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if we're going to see that Indiana Jones game.
We could, yeah.
When was the last time when was that reveal? It was before E3, wasn't it? I want to say it was before E3.
Bro,
I don't
time is a
remember.
flat circle.
Yeah,
and
I can't
I'm still in
time
summer
anymore.
of 2020, and it's about to be 2022.
I can't even remember when the fuck that game was released. But
No.
here's another one for you guys. I think we're gonna finally get more gameplay and a release date for Final Fantasy 16. I think it's probably time for this one. Because they wanted Yoshi P already said that they tried to have it at Tokyo Game Show, but it wasn't quite at a place where he wanted to show it yet. Yoshi P also said, "I don't want to show
a
this."
whole month later.
Well, but he said they were going to try. He said they might be able to get it in there, and they weren't able to. Yoshi P has already said, "I don't want to show this." He says, "The next time I show this game, I want to be able to give you a release date within the next 6 months." And that's what Yoshi P is known for, right? Like he doesn't want to fuck around and wait. I feel like now that Endwalker is going to be in the rearview mirror, Endwalker will have already come out, and I feel like a week after Endwalker is the perfect time to build on that Final Fantasy hype train and drop 16 out there and give it a release date of. At this point, I think we can all agree the game's probably coming out next year, right? Like fall, winter next year sounds about right.
It's possible, but I'm not 100% convinced it will.
I think Endwalker's the reason it won't be there because, especially if he says they're going to have a release date the next time they show it. Like Yoshi P he was like distraught over having to delay Endwalker.
Yeah.
So I just really think he's not going to want to have to do that again with 16. So I really don't think that release date is coming until they have it nailed down. And I just don't think it's that close.
I'll take a bet on that.
I will absolutely take a bet. I always feel good about taking a bet with you, John.
What are we wagering?
We'll figure it out after the show.
Figure it out. We'll take a bet. You heard it here. We're gonna bet. We're gonna have a running bet on this one.
My wild ass Final Fantasy take is that we hear about Remake Part 2 before we hear about 16 again. Like we got a splashy logo or something.
We're not getting Remake Part 2 for another 5 years, babes. Let's go.
Well,
there will never be a Part 3.
There are other Square Enix things floating around also we can't forget for the Game Awards, namely that Chrono Cross remaster.
If true.
That's true.
What a weird ass game to remake/remaster.
Instead of the premier game, Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger not available anywhere meaningful. Get fucked. Chrono Cross?
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go.
except the bad PC mobile port, and like I still have my DS copy. That's how I
the
play
PC
it.
port's decent now because it's been fixed.
They fixed
like,
it, yeah, but
PC
they had
gaming
but it
is
took
not the
four-
forefront of.
No,
yeah. So I think the writing's on the wall for that. I think that Chrono Trigger remaster is probably real, and I want to stress I think it's a remaster. I don't think it's a remake.
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Cross.
Chrono Cross. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
I want to stress I don't think it's a remake. I think it's a remaster. You know, and great. I like Chrono Cross. It's a good game. Like Derek said, I'm wondering where the fuck Chrono Trigger's at. But you know, like
Same place your console port of FF6 is, John.
I know, right? Like honestly, Derek, I think like can we all agree that like a pixel remaster style version of Chrono Trigger on consoles would generate more hype than a Chrono Cross remaster? That's
I think
what
you
I think.
Overestimate the number of people who give a shit about Chrono Trigger. But
yeah, I mean that's as a
I don't know,
I say that as someone
like,
who loves it, but like it's not exactly
Brittany,
blowing up
Brittany,
pop
Chrono Cross
culture.
is not better than Trigger. Brittany, I'm sorry, but Chrono Cross is not better than
I
Trigger.
support the boldness of the take, though.
I do support
I
the boldness
do,
of the take, but I disagree.
I appreciate and Chrono Cross is a good game. There's also that rumored Final Fantasy Tactics remaster. And what you got to say about that GE Force leak is that all of the major games that have appeared on it have come true. So, you know, I think the Chrono Cross remaster is probably true. I think the Final Fantasy Tactics remaster is probably true.
For the FF9 remake? Like,
I think that's probably true too. And
I will lose my shit.
So, and well, Derek, you know, if you think about it, it makes sense because they're doing that children's cartoon based on Final Fantasy IX, and what better
Why
way
did it have to be aimed so young?
I don't know, man. But yeah, we chased Brittany away with our anti-Chrono Cross talk. But yeah, so Square Enix will be there. I think you'll see either. I think Final Fantasy 16 is going to be there. I think you will see that Chrono Cross remaster or Final Fantasy Tactics, but you won't see both. Do we think Stranger of Paradise is going to be there at all? I hope not. Don't fucking waste time on Stranger of Paradise.
I don't think so.
Like,
I think they've showed more than enough at this point.
I agree. I don't want to see.
I don't think we see that
of
or Forspoken.
No, I don't think we see Forspoken.
I don't.
either.
No, you're right. We got a big dump on that at E3.
Yeah, we saw plenty of those. It's they do not need to be at the Game Awards. Like, and that's a big thing. Is it's like something that's had a big trailer, you know, recently, or a big blowout recently doesn't need to be at the Game Awards.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
So. That actually makes me think maybe Breath of the Wild 2 won't be there.
Yeah, I don't
know. We
know.
just got our big trailer at E3, and maybe they saved that for a direct.
I don't know if I would call that a big trailer. I mean, there
was in-engine like gameplay and shit.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't necessarily constitute
That's
a big
trailer. Yeah.
I mean, my complex feelings with Nintendo is like I'm a big Nintendo nerd.
You
a
never know what they're
fanboy.
gonna fucking do.
Yeah, like they can screw themselves every which way. But like, also, I think like we're so used to getting Smash Brothers announcements at those as reveals too, and like they don't have that anymore. It's done. And so I am curious if Nintendo is present. We could actually see Mario and Rabbids gameplay, maybe.
We could. Yeah. That's possible.
That's possible because that's a big sequel. The first game did really well. I happen to really love that first game. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Nintendo is like a giant question mark most of the time, especially when you apply logic to it. And I say this as someone who loves Nintendo. Because they're not going to show RCS. That's next month. Like, there's nothing else to show.
That. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I agree with Jeff, though, that I think Xbox is going to have the biggest, I think there's going to be a lot of PC multi-platform stuff and Xbox stuff because I think they are very open about a lot of stuff. And like I said, Bethesda, like that buyout, I can't believe that happened this year. Time is a flat circle.
Yeah, I don't know where any of us are, man. I'm just...
So... I've got 3 spicy predictions I want to throw out for the group to discuss. And I know Derek's ears will perk up on the first 2 of these. Actually, his ears will perk up on all 3 of these. 2 Capcom games to start with. Street Fighter 6.
No.
No way.
Absolutely
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Remastered.
No.
No, I don't think either of those.
You don't
Anything
think so?
Capcom fighting game is going to be saved for a major FGC event, probably Evo.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Capcom
Okay.
knows where they make their money on that stuff, so they're gonna show off traditional shit. Because there's no point showing Street Fighter off at the Game Awards because there's 3 whole people in attendance who will ever play it, and
That
it's
makes sense.
because
Yeah.
they were
that makes
forced
sense.
to review it by their outlets. They know to show that stuff off at Evo or something like that. So,
All right, so here's the next prediction for you guys. Dead Space.
I mean, that actually
Space
seems
remake.
possible. Yeah, that seems possible. That still flabbergasts me. I played the first 2 games and the third one, but that matters less. The first 2 games only a year ago, and like they looked great. Like I don't know.
It's weird to
Yeah,
think of
it's
remaking
weird.
Dead Space in the same way it's weird to think of remaking Resident Evil 4.
I agree 100%.
In that both
Yeah.
are nearly perfect horror games.
As they
like
are.
I played them
yeah.
in the last all of those in the last 5 years, and they hold up. Like I had little to no issue.
You can boot up Dead Space 2 on a beefy PC right now and have it looking glorious. And so same thing with Dead Space. And like I appreciate that. Like this is the reason they're doing this is because of all the success of the Resident Evil remakes. Let's be honest.
Right.
That's why
Of
they're
course.
doing this.
Yeah.
And and I am sure that Isaac Clarke will be a fully voiced protagonist in Dead Space. Unlike the first game, they're gonna add a bunch of story elements, and this is all fine. Honestly, I would have been happy with a fucking 1 through 3 collection.
I hope
Like,
the Dead Space remake just it starts as a remake and just goes in a different direction.
Yeah,
I don't think
that
it
would be
will.
amazing.
Because the best way you can justify the existence of a Dead Space remake is to go off the rails, go in a different direction where they cannot remake Dead Space 2 and 3. They need to make new follow-ups, right? Like that's almost all you could do.
Remaking Dead Space 2 is a bridge too far for me. Just re-release that. You don't need to touch it. It's perfect the way it is.
Make
like,
something different because Isaac dies instead of Nicole or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Nicole,
Nicole, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think so.
It is Nicole.
Just give me some weird shit. That's what I ask.
I don't think that they're going to reinvent the wheel with Dead Space. I think they're going to change elements of the story. Obviously, they're going to voice Isaac Clarke. They've already said they will.
Yep.
And it'll be Gunnar Wright, I would imagine, doing the voice again. I don't think that they're going to reinvent the wheel on this one from a story's perspective or a gameplay's perspective. I mean, what else it's Isaac Clarke stomping around the Ishimura. Like, what else can you do with it? Like you can't deviate from that too much simply due to the setting of the game.
You absolutely can, but they don't have the courage to do it.
I mean, I'm with you, Derek. Like, I would appreciate like a big swerve in the middle of the game, like just a hard turn right or left. But I don't think you're gonna get it.
I have some wild predictions.
Oh, I love wild predictions
that are games adjacent. I think we're going to get a bunch of video game, movie, and TV show reveal trailers.
Thanks, I hate it.
That wouldn't surprise me, actually.
I think we're going to see Sonic 2, and there's already been murmurs of Sonic 2 running ahead of some movies coming later in December.
Oh God, we're gonna get Mario, aren't
Mario
we? We're gonna get
first
Mario
look.
movie.
I think
Let's
Nintendo's
fucking
big
go.
reveal. I'm putting it on the record now, and you guys can come for me after next week. The big Nintendo reveal, the only Nintendo reveal next week, is the Mario trailer.
Don't do that.
I like the way you're fucking thinking,
That's my prediction.
man.
I won't be happy about it.
Do that to me.
I won't be happy about it, but that's my prediction. And then, like, we have Mario, we have Sonic, which I liked the first Sonic movie. It was fine. But I also think we'll see more Uncharted movie. I think they want to promote that as much as possible because they want to get butts in seats if at all possible. And then we might even see a trailer for the Last of Us TV show. We know they've been filming a bunch. We know that it's being worked on, and they've had momentum with it.
I don't know if they would show that at the Game Awards though.
I don't either, but that's why it's a wild prediction. I think
that one. I think it's still they're actually filming it here, and it's. I don't know. It seems kind of early, just following the shooting progress. I know they were set back. We had some wildfires in the summer here, and then with COVID and stuff like that, we had a really bad. So I don't know, but it would be dope if it was there.
Right. Yeah. So like those are my wild predictions is games adjacent stuff.
I will be so fucking pissed if Nintendo's
What?
only announcement is a goddamn Mario trailer for the movie. Like
It's coming.
I will
I would love it.
actually
Chaos.
I will
Chaos.
buy day one tickets if they do that.
Yeah.
Just to reward their boldness.
I will drive to I will drive to Derek's house and destroy him. If he buys day one ticket, I'm just kidding. But
Yeah.
but in all seriousness, man, like that would irritate me on a level that
And everyone else.
yeah, like you know, and I can just see if that happens. Derek just looks at the camera and does that. Yeah,
There it is.
yep. And it's going to be aimed at me, and I'm going to be so pissed off. Don't do it, God! It fucking it bothers me already. Don't do it.
So,
But-
famous Seamus in chat has a really good question. Do you think we'll get any Persona 25th anniversary announcements?
Possibly.
And
yeah.
here's the thing. We know we've got a couple Persona-related announcements coming this year.
We do.
In
Yeah.
December. I think my concern is I think that Sega is going to save all of the Persona stuff for whatever Persona event or blitz of announcements they want to do. And I don't know that they're going to be like, but this one gets to be at the Game Awards. So, because they've made it sound like they have multiple Persona projects in terms of potentially spin-offs, remasters, re-releases.
I think we're getting
what have
ports.
you.
I think we're getting ports of the older games like Innocent Sin and Persona 3.
Sure, I wouldn't be surprised if like Persona 5 Arena, is in there because
Or Persona 4 Golden on Switch. Fucking finally.
yeah, I mean,
like,
there's all kinds of shit like that could happen. So, but I think that's gonna all be together. I think since they have made it clear they have multiple announcements to make in December, I think that's going to be all at the same, whether it's like a single event or just like a press blitz day.
they're going to do it all at the same time.
Yeah,
They're
I
going to
don't
announce
think I
everything.
don't think there's going to be like one at the Game Awards, but good looking out.
I got a couple more, I guess.
Please, Jeff.
I mean, I just have to say, I don't want to talk about it because Ubisoft's still on my shit list with ActiBliz and CDPR. Just
Yep.
I'm not. I don't. If you guys want to talk about it, it's fine. I don't really enjoy talking about their games right now. But I think Ubisoft
Fair.
might have something there that quite often show up at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Just a quick glance. I think there's like a rumor for Assassin's Creed Infinity. That I don't know if
I
they're
heard
ready
about
to
that,
show that. Yeah, it'll probably be whatever that. Not Splinter Cell shooter thing or
Yeah.
something, or maybe a bit more Extraction because that's not out yet. But I do think there's a chance we see something Star Wars related. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I think the Knights of the Republic remake has been like rumored for a long time. Like Jason Schreier was talking about that years ago, so I don't know how far along it is. I could see maybe it's too soon since the last teaser. And then there's also that massive Star Wars game from Ubisoft as well. But since that studio is also doing, I think, the Avatar game, that one's probably like barely even started. But
What about
Which
Fallen Order 2?
Avatar?
is Fallen Order 2 announced? Like, is that an official thing?
No. I'm asking
No?
you if you think it could be announced here.
Yeah, this like,
Yeah.
I feel like Game Awards is prime for Star Wars stuff. I think it's the right audience. And the timing would be right for Fallen Order 2. I just don't know what Respawn's slate is like. I know Vince,
Sure,
he's
shilling
like the
Titanfall.
busiest guy in gaming right now with that DICE news.
kidding.
But I think, yeah, I mean, it's the right, was it 3 years since Fallen Order now? Like,
Yeah.
the time is right
Think
for a
so.
sequel. Absolutely. That's a good call. That's a really good candidate. I think that could be there for sure.
Oh, I just thought of something. We're gonna get the reveal trailer for Multiverses, the Warner
Oh,
Brothers
that's
Smash
a
Brothers
good
game.
bet.
That is
good
a
bet.
good bet. And
Yeah.
you know what? Since they've
don't even-
already announced the voice actors, like Matthew Lillard is coming back as Shaggy and like Kevin Conroy's Batman, like I'm hyped because it's at least going to have voice acting because the Nickelodeon game didn't even have that.
Yeah,
So,
that was
Finally,
really
finally,
depressing.
my Bugs Bunny versus Neo dreams can come
Oh,
true.
I just realized we saw on Twitter there's some Unreal Engine Matrix project.
I saw
yes.
that earlier. Yeah, like,
that could be
but
it.
they said it was an experience, not a game. They
Right,
said it
but
was
do you
the-
think that's at the
Right.
Game Awards, whatever it is?
well,
Could be.
whatever it is, I don't think it's a game because it said an Unreal experience. So I feel like it's an interactive trailer, or
Oh,
know,
I
like a.
see.
It's
Yeah,
some
like-
kind of Game Awardsy bullshit. Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
it's time, right? We've got to see more Abandoned, right? It's time. It's time
No.
for Blue Box to drop that big abandoned bomb on us.
Hey, you want to know what's even less likely to show up than abandoned?
What's
Anything from Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
We're gonna Abandoned's gonna come on
Overwatch 2 is
screen.
never coming out.
Nope.
Abandoned's gonna come on screen, and the words are gonna shift and morph into Metal Gear Solid 6.
John, I'm going
it's
to drive 10 hours overnight to your
Hideo
home
Kojima.
in Virginia, and I'm going to punch you directly in the throat.
Do you think, Derek?
It'll be the last thing I ever do.
One, do you think your hand will get within a foot of my throat before I stop it? And two,
I think you would let me just to see what would happen.
just as an experiment.
Yeah, only so that I earned the counterattack that you would then perform.
But no, dude, and then Hideo walks down the ramp. He walks down the ramp, lifts up his eye patch, and says, "Kept you waiting, didn't I?"
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Oh, I wanted it to happen just for that look on Derek's face right now. That
I'm
resigned.
muting you. I muted him. He's not on stream anymore. That's what he does.
A
I'm
tease
unmuting
for
you, John.
a tease for Kojima's
Howard.
next project could absolutely be there. Just given the relationship between him and Jeff. The other,
Jeff.
and I hate to kill the vibe, but I just it's been on my mind, and I can't get it out, and I really hope it's not true. But just given the way this year has gone, what are the chances we get through the entire 3-hour show without hearing about an NFT?
No way.
0%.
0%.
0%. Hey,
Just because blockchain doesn't lie.
I'm gonna hold off the joke I was going to make at
Derek,
the expense of a notable gaming person that's in a lot of our circles.
Okay, Jeff confirmed on Twitter, no NFTs. Bless you.
No NFTs.
Yeah.
No NFTs.
Hey, we've already seen the one guy goes off the script. Somebody's gonna shout out NFTs, and Joff will have no control over it. I'm just saying.
It's gonna be
Fuck
the develop.
the Oscars. Crypto is the future. It's happening.
Yeah, the Game Awards themselves is just gonna be one big NFT. It's just gonna be a massive
downloadable video
NFT.
NFT. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, so that's good actually. I'm glad there aren't gonna be any NFTs there. You also know, how many times do you think we're gonna see the same trailer twice? Because it fucking happens every Game Awards.
They're ad breaks. It's a little different.
Yeah, like they play a trailer and then
there's the
an ad break
reveal, and then
later.
they're buying up space for ad breaks. That's different.
So what?
But several times.
Yeah, it's going to happen over and over. How many awards do you think we will get shown, or how many awards will get awarded off screen as opposed to on screen?
A solid third of them.
Yeah.
You think a whole third of them?
Yeah.
A solid third.
I agree.
Game of the year will be awarded off screen. Call it.
Yeah, by the way, do we have a prediction for game of the year winner?
I don't even know who the nominees
What
are.
are the nominees? Yeah, I don't fucking remember.
I can pull them.
Luckily, I have them pulled up already.
Oh, look at you.
Wow.
Better.
At least someone preps on this show.
It's like I've done this
Better
professionally
prepared than we
for
ever could.
almost a decade.
What do you got, Stormy?
All right, so I'm scrolling up to the top of the list. So Game of the Year is Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, and Resident Evil Village. And my want is Metroid Dread. My prediction is It Takes Two or Deathloop.
See, I was going to say the boring answer feels like Ratchet and Clank.
Mm.
Does that make sense? And I don't mean that to put down Ratchet and Clank, but like it feels weird, like it doesn't belong on that list. It was a good game.
Right.
It was not that good, and it feels like it's gonna be that kind of safe, boring, extremely expensive.
This is like a panel of judges, right? Not fan votes or anything like that for these awards.
Fan votes have a part, but they're
yeah.
rated lower than the judges.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think Psychonauts 2 has a really good shot.
I mean, I would love if that won. I love Psychonauts 2. Also.
But if fans are coming into play, I think Ratchet and Clank seems like the safe bet. Yeah. But I don't know. My guess is I think actually Psychonauts 2 is going to take it. I think that really caught a lot of people by surprise this year.
Yeah. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank is like the Joe Biden of this
Jesus,
selection.
you're not wrong.
Like,
you're
it's
not wrong.
probably gonna win, and I'm not excited about it. But like,
I would
It's
love Metroid to
reasonable.
win. Like
too.
that.
It won't.
It won't. But God, I hope
If there
it
was
does.
if there was a year for it to happen, it would be this year. If it doesn't happen this year, it probably won't.
I will say the thing going to Metroid's favor is it's pretty recent. We know a lot of times
Yes.
any awards show, the longer it's been, it's not as fresh in people's minds. Coming right off October with the SWOLED launch. Ratchet and Clank feels like it came out a year ago. I don't know when it actually came
I've
out.
played through Metroid twice already. Every time we talk about it, I want to go play it again.
Immaculate.
Same.
I
Same,
mean,
John.
it's. I think the problem is Metroid Dread almost could not be a better game for what it is at this point. But like, I just fear that a 2D exploration focused side scroller is never gonna win Game of the Year.
The fact that it's nominated at all is fucking awesome, though.
Yeah.
Like
Agreed.
a 2D
Some of these
Metroid
nominations are stupid, man. Like in every year, I remember the year Monster Hunter World came out and it didn't get picked for best soundtrack, and it was like, how do you not do best music in a monster? Like, what the fuck? But like, that's the Game Awards.
Also, Sam said in chat, it's 90% judges, 10% fan vote. So
yeah, I can see Deathloop feels a little too fan favorite-y to me.
How do we feel about
actually
Resident Evil?
Resident
I mean,
Evil's
it
not
has.
gonna win.
I
I
don't
love
know.
Resident Evil. It's between that and Metroid Dread for me personally
Me
in terms
too.
of my game of the year. But like, I could see It Takes Two taking it. I think there's just something about like if we're talking about building the narrative here and like the weird underdog kind of indie-ish type, like It Takes Two feels right. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that Ratchet and Clank will probably win,
yeah, probably.
which is the most boring possible choice.
I'm not even gonna yell no when it happens. I'm just gonna go okay.
I feel like this is the least clear year, though. I feel like in previous years, it was very obvious, like a 10
Remember when it was Red Dead 2 and we were all just like,
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever.
get it over with.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say it. Yeah. Like
Whereas here, like, if any of them won, I'd be okay, and I'd probably even be surprised, right? Like, I don't think, and I think most of the games on this list more or less deserve it too,
I think
to some level.
Even Ratchet is like the heel of the group as far as I'm concerned. But even so, if it wins, I'm like, yeah, it was a pretty good game. Yeah, I'm not like mad about it. I'm just nonplussed. And if that's the worst reaction you can get out of me out of that entire pick of games,
It's a pretty good year, yeah.
guys, watch fucking Cyberpunk win RPG of the year. You just watched it happen.
I will.
if
murder.
Cyberpunk wins a single award, I am going to fume in my chair.
You just watch it fucking happen.
It probably
gonna
fucking
happen.
will. Cyberpunk's gonna win a bunch of awards for no goddamn reason.
No reason at all.
Yep.
Fucking broken ass game. Jeff, go
I
ahead.
have to ask John something. I mean, it's open to everyone, but I think this will specifically be tailored to John. I could be wrong. I don't think Final Fantasy 14 has ever won ongoing game at the Game Awards. It's been nominated.
don't know,
at least
actually.
a
I
few
don't
years,
think
and
so.
it's nominated
Feel
again
like
this year.
This is the year that it.
Yeah.
I
Like,
feel
if
like
it
this would
wins,
be.
it
Well,
would
you
be-
would think it would have been like when Shadowbringers released, but I don't even think it won that year.
I think with everything happening with Blizzard, and I think with everything happening with World of Warcraft right now, because I mean World of Warcraft is on a series backslide.
That's not nominated. So the
It's not even
nominees are,
nominated. Okay.
the nominees are Apex Legends, which I mean, great game. Call of Duty Warzone, 14, Genshin Impact, and Fortnite.
Yeah.
So
I feel like if Final Fantasy 14 is going to win it, this is the year.
This is the year. Yeah, I would agree. with that.
Because that game, because this is the year it became the most populated MMO.
Yeah.
And I actually think, correct me if I'm wrong, Storm, but I actually think Final Fantasy 14 this year became the most populated MMO of all time.
I'm not sure. I feel like that's right, but I'm not positive.
I want to say that that's right. I'm not 100%, but this is the year that it surpassed World of Warcraft. It is now the number one MMO in the world. And I feel like this would be a nice way to kind of cap off that whole, like the story, because that whole arc is coming to an end. Okay, like if it doesn't win it this year, it's not ever going to win it. So
Right.
that's what I think. But how about Derek? What do you think, man?
I don't even know, man.
Derek doesn't even know. Derek
Derek
Derek's like, I don't know, man. Fortnite had a great year.
It seems
a good
silly
run,
to
man.
me if FF14 doesn't at this point, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know how they decide fucking anything. And
I'm sorry, but like Fortnite and Apex Legends, not to take anything away from them, those are just boring choices.
I mean, like Overwatch was nominated many years also in the past. Like it just and like
some of those years it even might have deserved it. Like I don't know, shit.
And Sam points out in chat, like Genshin had a huge year this year. Like its numbers exploded this year on console.
I still have not
mobile.
played that. I still haven't played it.
Yeah, because it's not a John game, but like, and that's another thing is when something like Fortnite or Apex Legends takes best ongoing game or whatever, like best live service, whatever. It's just a completely different world than what I inhabit, and I understand often that it's the world of gaming is simply too large for any of us to be well versed in every corner of it. So it becomes much harder for me to weigh in on something like that compared to like Monster Hunter World not getting on best game soundtrack for the year that it came out. What the fuck? I will never forgive them for that. Anyway.
So is there any what do we have any final predictions for what we're going to see at the Game Awards?
I don't think you're going to see nearly as much as you want. I think people need to get ready for that.
It's going to be a normal gaming show.
Yeah,
that's every year.
Well, ever since, I mean, obviously every single award show people expect more than they get, but that has been especially pronounced since COVID started. And every E3 or Nintendo Direct or PlayStation stream or Xbox stream or whatever, the Game Awards last year, people went in thinking, there's so much coming up, and this will finally be the show that blows the lid off all of it. And the truth is that everything's working really slow, even still, and the stuff that's coming is on an incredibly delayed scale. And the stuff that you know about will be coming out over the next 5 years. Like, and that may be disappointing, but the sooner you come to terms with that reality, the easier it will be for you to come into something like the Game Awards and be like, let's see what happens here. I'm not emotionally my night's not going to be ruined if I don't get any super cool surprises. My backlog's already too long to address.
Me too. Me too.
This might be the first year I don't watch it. I will be in Philly for PAX Unplugged. I have a press pass, so I'm going to be covering some board games. So I might or might not watch it. But yeah, no, I agree with Derek. I think also award shows like exhaust me now in a way that they didn't when I was younger. Yeah. I want to get excited, and like when y'all stream it and I'm in chat, like that's a ton of fun for me. But like mostly.
That has more to do with us together and you and the whole community than it is about the garbage on screen.
Yeah.
And so I agree. I mean, would I love for Inscription or Death's Door to win Best Indie? Sure. They were great games. Things like that. But
Inscription better take something.
Typically the games that I love don't win these kinds of awards, the mainstream stuff. This year is the best year for that. I've played more new games this year than I ever have any previous year. But that said, I don't know. I feel like you have to kind of go along for the ride. The hype is hard to keep up with. And God bless Jeff Keighley. He's excited and be excited. It's your baby. But I don't know that I just don't share that enthusiasm as much anymore. I think I'm just getting more cynical in my old age. That's what happens, right, John? When you get old, you get more cynical.
You get more cynical, but in some cases, you get better looking. I mean, look at me. It happens. Look at you. Stormy, look at you. Look at Derek. Look at Jeff. Look at all four of us.
Jeff's a baby.
I'm unusually red today for reasons.
The older we get, the older the four of us get, the better we look. Let's be honest.
Fair. It's fair.
Let's be honest.
Oh no, I really am that red. It's not just my camera. Yeah, that's all the wine. I've had a lot of wine.
Derek, tell me about that. Is that a cab, or is that like a Merlot or a Shiraz? What were you drinking?
Oh, it's like a cheap fucking blackberry Moscato.
Ooh.
It's very, very cheap, very sugary.
I was gonna say wine to me is red or white.
This was not the classy choice. This was the $7 gets me and Martha fucking
There you
destroyed
go. That's all you
There it
need.
is.
That's all you
There it is.
need.
So
That's all you need.
All right, we are brushing up against our time here. Great fucking night, great podcast, great predictions all around, and of course, Stormy, great to have you back on finally.
Thank you.
If people want to locate you for Twitter related purposes, where can they find you?
So you can find me at DJ_Stormageddon everywhere, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram. Really briefly, if I may, I want to plug something for this weekend because it's for
please.
charity.
yes.
For the BioWare fans in the house, this Saturday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, I am taking part in Unofficial Dragon Age Day again for the second year in a row. And I will be streaming on my Twitch account. I will be playing Dragon Age 2, and I will be doing an anti-mage run. As much as I hate to say those words, I will be killing some mages. So if you want to watch me suffer, tune in. We are raising money for Able Gamers this year. I'm very excited to be a part of it.
Very
I've already raised over $200. My goal is $5, so we're almost halfway there already. If you want the details, go to my Twitter. It's all posted there. And then if you want to see all my podcasts and stuff, you can just go to djstormageddon.com. I made it real simple. And all my podcasts, my merch, all that stuff is there. And thank you, 3 very beautiful gentlemen, for having me here. Gentlemen and they, thems, you know, the whole spectrum
Yeah,
is here on the
absolutely.
today. And
Absolutely.
I love this show, and even though I don't get to be here as much as I'd like because I've been really busy, I think of y'all fondly, and I enjoy being a part of this. So thank you for having me.
Aw, we love
It
you,
is
Stormy.
always a pleasure to have you here. So before we sign off here, I want to remind everyone that we have a Discord with almost 350 people. Very,
Damn.
very extremely wholesome. Look at that. Extremely wholesome Discord. We also have a Patreon. If you want to throw us a few dollars to get us to conventions whenever the fuck that starts happening again, hopefully East maybe.
We're gonna fucking see about that.
We'll see.
Omicron says otherwise, John.
We'll see. And also, we have a store. We have a store with actual merchandise, and I would throw the link at you right now, but apparently Bonfire is down. So I can't throw the link at you right now, but we have shirts,
Put that
we
as
have
a command on
hoodies.
the Discord bot or on the Nightbot as well at
Yeah.
some point. So anyway.
We have mugs, shirts, hoodies. They're very comfortable. We've already had a few people pick them up and post pictures of themselves wearing them, and it's fucking wild that we have people wearing our merchandise out in the world. That is nuts to me.
It helps all the proceeds go to charitable causes.
And every single dollar goes to various charities, whether it be Black Girls Code or Take This or what's our other one? We have Black Girls Code, Take This, and the Trevor Project. So every single dollar, we don't make a single dime from these things. All goes to charity. So not only will you be looking good, feeling good, you will also be supporting some great causes if you pick up our shirts. And it really pisses me off that I did that really nice pitch and fucking Bonfire is just flat on its ass right now. So you actually cannot buy our merch right now because the website's down. But as soon as it comes back up, you absolutely can, and I highly recommend you do. Jeff, your shirts are on the way. They've already been shipped, so your shirts are on the way.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We will be streaming the Game Awards next Thursday in lieu of a regular show. And if nobody has anything else, remember, kindness costs nothing. We'll see you next week.
Bye.